Hey guys, Sandra here, and I am just doing a quick tutorial showing you some of the fun ways you can use this new stamp set from My Style Stamps. I designed the stamp set and I think it's super fun, and you could definitely use it for cards or project life, but I'm going to be using it to do this fun little tutorial where I will be using some Vellum, some Versamark, and an acrylic block is basically what you need. And most of us have all of these items in our stash, so it's a pretty fun thing to just try out to create your own kind of embellishments and papers and all kinds of stuff. So the limit is only your imagination. You want to make sure you cover that stamp really well since it is clear ink, because you can't really see where the coverage is. And then just apply even pressure, and as you can see, even though it's see-through so it's hard to pick it up on camera, you can see it's there. I went ahead and stamped a bunch more on there just for the purpose of saving some time, so you guys can see where I'm going with this. And then I pulled out my Recollections gold embossing powder. It's what I had on hand, but you guys can use whatever you have in your stash. I also recommend fine detail powder, the Ranger kind. It's really good to pick up on those small details in the stamps, so you would probably get an even cooler look with that, but since I used what I had on stash, that's what I did. And then I'm just using a little paintbrush to clean off the excess around the hearts, so if anything sticks to it, it won't get embossed as well. And that's a great way to just clean up your image, and the smaller the brush, the better. And there you have it, a pretty gold solid image, and how cute is that? It's like you can make your own vellum paper. This is something I've done before, and I'm just trying to emboss separately, because if you emboss all in one, well, if you emboss and put heat on vellum too many times, it starts to warp. So you want to do this adding as less heat as possible to the actual paper. So that's definitely what I would recommend if you're going to do this technique, so that you don't get warped vellum. For the next technique, we're going to be using another image from the stamp set, which is a Truly Madly Deeply. We're going to be embossing again, and again you need an acrylic block, and I'm just using the embossing buddy this time around just so that I don't have to worry about any particles sticking to my paper. And you want to make sure that you use a nice heavyweight cardstock or watercolor paper when doing this, because watercolor obviously saturates your paper a lot and you don't want to get feathering or warping, so that's what I recommend. I'm using 110-pound cardstock. And this one happens to be from Staples, but whatever you have on hand, I would just definitely make sure it's heavyweight or you won't get the best results possible. And then I'm using some white opaque detailed powder, and this is just so that I get the best image possible. And sometimes when you buy embossing powders, they can have little clumps in them, but I really wouldn't worry about that because either way they work fine, and this one worked perfect for the technique I was going for. And now I'm just funneling back the leftover powder into the jar again, which is why I use the scratch piece of paper underneath, because it just helps you save on powder, and who doesn't want to save? So now for this next technique, as you can see, I already heat embossed it off camera. That's why you have that glossy finish to it. And now I'm going to be working with some Peerless watercolors. I did go ahead and make this book for my Peerless watercolors because it doesn't come this way, but you can use whatever watercolors you have on hand, so keep that in mind. I also own the Michaels Artist Loft $5 watercolors, so whatever you have on hand will work. I'm a big believer in using any sort of watercolor, especially when you're beginning. I wouldn't necessarily invest in the most expensive until you realize that you're really going to use it a lot. And I'm using just a water brush with my watercolors, because you kind of just pick up the color as you go. And you can tell as I add the color that you're seeing the image kind of come to life, so you can see underneath it. And the darker the color with this type of technique, the better you're going to get as far as clarity with the image, because obviously it's going to stand out more since it's white. I kept this kind of on the lighter side just because I knew the color palette that I use when I make cards for Project Life, so I didn't want to make it too dark, but you can really use any colors that you see fit to use. And there we go. I just added some pink and some of the blues, and that's kind of like my style, so I kept it kind of simple. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and definitely keep checking back for more tutorials. And I hope this also gives you an idea of how to use a stamp set, and definitely check out mystylestamps.com so that you can purchase this stamp set and many other wonderful ones. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye!